On this episode of Sloan's Wilderness Expeditions, we return to the Sunshine State for our own unique style of spring break festivities. Come along as we explore the Florida Keys, find some gators in the Everglades, and kayak among manatees and monkeys in Ocala National Forest.
Hey fellow expeditionists, this is my last spring break of my college career.
So we came down to the Florida Keys. We arrived in the Florida Keys on Sunday, March 15th, and the weather was less than ideal. The forecast called for rain every day that we'd be down here, but we were determined to make the most of it. It's hard to dampen our spirits when we're literally in paradise. Hey guys, we have made it to the Key of Marathon here in the Florida Keys. This is where we're going to be staying for the next 3 nights. We're here a little bit early to check into our hotel, so we came out to Sombrero Beach just to check some things out, see the beauty of these crystal clear waters. Of course, Caden is collecting some macroalgae apparently for his own tanks back at home. And yeah, we just got here and there's already been an alarm set off saying that there is lightning within 10 miles of here, so we're not sticking around too long. Weather's been not so great for us on our drive in, but you know, it's Florida. Wait 10 minutes and the weather will change. Well, we made it to our hotel here in Marathon. It's just a small little cheap hotel called the Cedel Motel. We didn't need much because realistically we'll only be here for sleeping and breakfast, and that's about it. The rest of the time, weather permitting, we'll be out here doing adventures in the Keys. I just had somebody interrupt me here. Funniest thing about the Florida Keys is the wandering roosters everywhere, all the chickens. A quick look at our room here at the Cedel. Very simple. We got us a fridge, microwave, and a coffee maker here. Of course, we have our own little portable fridge down here. Table with a lot of our stuff there. We have 2 queen-sized beds in here. This dresser, TV above. Our AC. Of course, here we have a view out to the pool across the way. So pretty spacious, really, and it's all that we need. Of course, the restroom, pretty simple. Shower. I mean, realistically, for the Sloans, this is pretty fancy. Walking around our hotel out here, kind of looking for some lizards. We haven't found any iguanas yet, though I've heard of them being here. Definitely got some coconuts above head there. But I know I've seen some smaller lizards skittering around in the rocks earlier. We kind of skipped lunch today with all the activities of getting down here, getting checked into the hotel and everything. So we're hungry. We're going to go check out the Marathon Grill and Ale House. Great atmosphere here at the Marathon Grill and Ale House. The food is looking pretty darn good too. Oh, now that's a burger, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome food there at the Marathon Grill and Ale House. It was really good. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was nice.
It's nice finding these places like that. It's also nice the fact that Caden's 21 now and we can hit up a lot of places we didn't used to be able to, huh?
That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, the weather is still not cooperating, not getting much of a sunset tonight. Otherwise, we would be heading out to find us a good sunset spot. Now, honestly, we might just hit the bed early tonight because we haven't slept very good the last couple of nights, have we?
Yeah.
The Florida Keys stretches more than 125 miles from the southern tip of Florida, almost all connected by the 113-mile overseas highway. Now, the highway features 42 bridges over the ocean, including the famous 7-mile bridge, which connects Knights Key at the southern end of the town of Marathon to Little Duck Key near Bahia Honda State Park. The older bridge to the north of the highway was part of the Henry Flagler Overseas Railroad, built in the early 1900s, before it was later converted to the original Overseas Highway, but is now just open to pedestrians and cyclists. The 7-mile bridge has been featured in many television shows and movies, including License to Kill, True Lies, Too Fast, Too Furious, Burn Notice, and Roadhouse. And it will allegedly be featured in the upcoming Grand Theft Auto 6 video game, if it's ever released. Now, some of you may be wondering, why are these called keys instead of islands? Well, a key is a specific type of small, low-elevation island formed from coral reefs and sediment, whereas island is a broader term for any landmass surrounded by water. All keys are islands, but not all islands are keys. Well, good morning, fellow expeditionists. We had a great night of sleep last night, and we are out for some great adventures today. Where are we at this morning, Caden?
We are in the Key West Tropical Forest Botanic Gardens.
All right. So we had a great drive across the Overseas Highway this morning with some great views, and now we're going to go find some interesting plant life, huh, bud?
Exactly.
All right, let's go. Yeah, we can't even make it to the visitor center without Caden stopping for this stuff. We are in his world now. I see a turtle. I see a lot of turtles. Wow. And normal turtles go flying away from us, back in Indiana anyway. Now these turtles, they're not messing around. They're like, hey, you want to feed us here, y'all? Oh, and look to the right. Is that a swamp chicken?
Yep.
Nice.
That's a gallinule.
Play that funky music, white boy. So of course, Caden had to check out their little native plant sale here they've got. Not that Indiana is native to this, but still pretty cool. And then we found that this corky stem passion flower comes with a friend. What kind is that, Caden?
I believe it is a brown anole.
Brown anole in there.
The brown anole is technically not native to Florida, but I believe to Cuba, but they have naturalized pretty much throughout the whole state.
It makes sense. So this botanical garden is one of the main reasons Caden wanted to come back to the Florida Keys. As you know, we've been here 3 times over the past 9 years, I guess. So this is our 4th time. The last time we were here 2 years ago, we just happened to see the sign for the Botanical Garden on our way out from Key West, and we were like, how did we miss that? Because this is the stuff that is right up Caden's alley, you know, he's all into the botany stuff. So we made it our first stop here on this trip to Key West. So here we have a gumbo limbo tree. I believe this is also the one known as the tourist tree because of how the bark is red and peels, just like a tourist in the sun too long. When the gardens keepers here call this a native plant botanical garden, what they're referring to is anything really within 150 miles of this area. So that can actually even include plants and animal life from Cuba, because that is within 150 miles. It's really within 90 miles. Most of the trees and plant life here have some kind of identifying plaque on them, but this little tree right here, not a clue. Your guess is as good as mine. All right, we got anything more out here on the pond? Lots of some kind of little minnows in that water.
Some kind of mosquito fish.
Mosquito fish, okay. And up above us somewhere I can hear the Florida bird, also known as airplane. So through this area, we were told there's a whole bunch of different kinds of warblers, including some pretty rare ones. But I just don't have the patience personally to sit back and wait and wait. There's some thick palm trees. It's a little different. What kind is that, buddy?
I'm not quite sure. Seems like it doesn't really have a common name, but the binomial name is Copernicia fallens.
Got a little warbler in here. I found that one, but he's kind of in the sticks. Well, I stand corrected on the whole warbler thing. You know, I didn't think I'd have the patience, and then they're like, "Hey, look at me!" and a bunch of little ones come flying around. So going through their butterfly gardens here, and we're just not really seeing much for butterflies. Why could that be, Caden?
It's probably just not the right time of year for that.
Swampy.
I see fish in there too.
There's some kind of cactus coming out of the ground here. That you can see it literally just wraps itself around this tree on these limbs. And it's all over climbing up the trees. Yeah, this is a major strangler fig formation or growth. I guess it's not formation, it's a growth. That's wild. There's a big old thing here of erect prickly pear. I know I seen a snake slithering through here. Yeah, he's back there, Caden. You see his tail?
Nope.
What do you think that would probably be?
I think that might be a black rat snake.
Not knowing what's native down here, that would be my best guess too. There he goes. Dead ahead, Key West dinosaur. We are on the hunt now for the Florida dinosaur. We've been hearing it. Oh, look. It's gone to the ground. There it goes, the elusive Florida dinosaur. That is a serious ouchie right there. That's an ouchie if I ever seen one. Otherwise known as barbed wire cactus. We may have come upon a herd of the Florida Keys dinosaurs. Yeah, we are in the western loop here right now, and it is definitely overtaken by some of the Florida Keys dinosaurs through here. I think we've interrupted their nesting process. The fearless catfish up here is leading us through the dinosaur territory. Those little anoles don't know their days are numbered with all the dinosaurs around here.
All parts of this tree are poison. Dang it.
Dang it. No num-nums.
Nope.
Here we have a white stopper tree, and there's all kinds of different stopper tree plants in here. Why did they get that name, Caden?
Well, the natives of South Florida used these kinds of trees to stop diarrhea.
Stopped it, huh?
Apparently.
Stopper. It's like a cork. He blends right in with that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Lots of dinosaurs here in the Keys. But that's going to do it for our exploration here today at the Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Gardens. We ended up spending almost 3 hours here and loved every minute of it. Any thoughts there, Caden?
This place is awesome. Just all the different plant diversity. We got to see lots of different things here.
Yeah, and what about all of the wildlife?
Yeah, we saw iguanas, brown anoles, curly-tailed lizards, even chickens.
Not to mention the ibises and the warblers and such.
Those are so cool.
Yep. We're moving on. We've got more adventures to do, huh?
Yep.
All right, great introduction here for our adventure here in Key West. Well, nearly going on 4 hours now, we're finally leaving the Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Gardens. The lady that works there, young lady, very knowledgeable. Her and Caden had so much in common, sitting there talking about the native stuff, the birds especially. She was identifying the birds he took pictures of, and all of the butterfly stuff and everything, the plant stuff. You guys went on and on, didn't you?
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure they would still be in there talking if there wasn't for the fact that there were other customers and such, people coming through and needing to get through and get answers to stuff as well, huh? Mm-hmm. So, great experience for this guy right here, I'll tell you what. Anyway, let's go exploring some more. Well, we have come to the southeast corner or whatever of Key West. We're at the Clarence Higgs Memorial Beach with multiple parks out here and everything. We're going to do some exploring. We've never bothered stopping in this area when we've been to Key West before, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. So keeping with our gardens theme today, apparently, we are the Key West Garden Club. We're going to go check this out. It's in an old military fort. So this is Fort West Martello, one of only 3 old forts here in the Key West area. So this one's really been converted into this really cool gardens area. So there's a lot of flowering things on this.
Oh, yep, orchids.
So definitely a unique use for an old fort. Now, I've been to many botanical gardens over the years, but never inside an old military installation. Looks like we've got another curly-tail lizard.
These curly-tailed lizards, they're like the chipmunks of Florida.
Chipmunks of Florida, huh?
They sure look like them when they go running.
Sure don't see that in Indiana. So here we have some kind of banana tree, which we actually used to have a couple growing in our own yard back in Indiana.
This looks more like the kind I see planted ornamentally in Florida. Not the same silver palm we saw earlier, but a silvery palm.
It's kind of wild to think that what we're standing on here right now was once a watchtower. Military watchtower to watch out over the seas. Now that's a heck of an agave there. These are some of the weirdest cacti I think I've seen. Now that there's prickly pear cacti, but I don't know that I've ever seen prickly pear. This literally got tree trunks on it, man. Grows to 39, Mexico. And then what is this thing here? It looks like a brain cactus. Look at that. It's got like brain formations.
It is weird.
That is weird. Look at this in relation to Caden. Yeah, that gives you an idea of the size of these things. Monstrous. Another butterfly garden. I don't expect to see a lot here just because everything's been so dry, I guess. They say that that has an effect and that a lot of them are moving in. Well, I do see some small ones, I guess. All right, guys, are we looking at the back of a dinosaur here, or are we looking at a tree? Yeah, that is actually a silk floss tree. Well, Caden, what did you think of that little Key West Gardens there inside the old fort?
That was a cool little place.
Yeah, it was a nice little thing to see. It's one of these hidden things that I think a lot of tourists tend to overlook. And realistically, this is our 4th time coming to Key West, and we're just now getting around to finding places like that. All right, we have made it to Duval Street here in Key West. We left the area over there where we had free parking and came over here to paid parking where we had to pay through the nose to go and see the things and not be on a time scale. If we want to be out late tonight, we can be out late tonight, but you definitely have to pay for it. But anyway, we're here now. What kind of things you want to do, Caden?
Check some stuff out.
Well, if you have a Jeep, here's your place, huh? Every duck you could imagine, including ones you don't want to imagine.
Hey, brother.
How's it going? Nope. Looks like you got a friend.
It looks like Cornelius from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Wow. I don't think it's quite as friendly as that guy. We've just been out walking the old Duval Street and checking out some of the shops and the absolutely ridiculous things they try to sell in there. And just led us all the way down to Mallory Square, which typically we're never here except for sunset. So the big old cruise ships are in here right now. Thought we'd just walk by and enjoy the scenery, I guess. That is a big old yacht behind that ship. Makes you realize just how huge that ship is. You know, it always amazes me when I see kids or families bringing their kids into places like this, because Duval Street is not meant for children at all. Between the bars and some of the things that get sold in these shops. Some of the residents here of Key West. So Duval Street is probably about 60% of little shops selling all the same generic stuff, 5% cannabis shops, and everything else are bars and restaurants. And I don't know, I feel like there's something we haven't done yet, Caden. What could it be? I'm kind of feeling thirsty.
It's cool and all, but maybe we need to get some beer.
That's right. The biggest thing to do, honestly, in Key West, and especially down here in the Duval Street area, is bar hop. And it's one thing that Cade's never been able to do in our past visits. Not that it's necessarily so cool to go having beers with Dad, but I guess that's what we're going to be doing, huh, buddy?
Yep.
Now, I know this week is St. Patty's Day. Tomorrow, actually. So I'm feeling a little bit green. How about you?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we should head up the Green Parrot. Got some tour guides here. How about you, my dude? What's the best bar in town? We have made it to sort of the southernmost point. I say sort of because the official buoy spot is currently being worked on. I think it got damaged in one of the more recent hurricanes. So for the time being, they have moved a buoy over here by the southernmost beach. Pretty sure every time we've ever come to Key West, we've always come out to this beach and this viewpoint. We think you swam in this the first time we were at Key West back in 2017.
Yep.
What do you got there, Keaton?
I have strawberry daiquiri.
Oh, is it a frozen strawberry daiquiri?
Yep, and it's not to be confused with a peccary, which we still have not seen in Texas.
Well, it's a good thing because we're not in Texas right now. You know what? We have seen frozen daiquiris. What we got here?
We found the elusive Florida panther.
Oh, it's not just the Florida panther, it's the black panther. Hi there, buddy. Need to go get him. He's living the life here in Key West. Yes, he is.
Grass, trees, and dew, how I just hate you. Please turn those headlights around.
All right, we have been down Duval Street, back Duval Street, and back down again. Where are we at now, Caden?
We're at Mallory Square.
That's right, we were here just a little while ago checking out the big old tour boats. But at this point of the night is when everybody comes out here for the sunset. Now, we're not getting much of a sunset tonight just because there's clouds in the sky, thunderstorms are coming later tonight. But we're hoping there'll still be some of the street performers out here. I'm waiting for him to get somebody. Darn.
Everybody, ooh! Setting up the ladder, 20 feet in the air. Oh my gosh. This one, ready? I feel a little unsteady. Could I get one other adult on each rope? Any grown-up would be awesome. It does have to be a grown-up though. Any grown-up, volunteer yourselves. One more on each rope. I'll go. Yeah. There's one, good, two. Oh, perfect. Yeah, slide back down the rope there so you can, hold lower. Good. Beautiful. The two of you take one step out that way for me. Tiny bit more. Good. I need the whole ladder to lean a little more this way.
Yeah, you got involved. Woo!
Look at this man with a yellow shirt. This guy's a winner, went to college, lives in a house. Kids, be like that guy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Go you. Now look at this gentleman with the white t-shirt. This guy went to prison. Be aware of this man. My friend with the bright outfit, I can tell you have a good sense of humor. Would you help me out for a quick second?
Sure.
Come on down over here on the other side of the rope where it's safe. And when I point at you, Mark, you'll just run back into the show and place the board back on top of that tube. Okay, Mark? Sure. I'm going to go over that one more time because it looks like you took 100 milligrams today. Mark, focus. Guys, keep it moving. It's a private show. Mark, focus. I'm going to point at you. You're going to enter the stage, ballet style, like this. You're going to do one pretty little spin like this. You're going to place the board on top of the tube, lift one foot up in the air. All these people are going to go crazy. This lady's going to take off her top, and we're going to get a real party started. Got that, Mark?
Yeah.
Just remember, ballet style, pretty little space, board, foot, naked. Something extra. Something beautiful, something special. Besides you, Mark. Whip number one, I'm going to crack back and forth like so. Crack whip number two from side to side simultaneously like so. See these whips? They're a lot like Mark. They go both ways. Alright, it gets better. One, six. Mark, ready, set, go. Goddamn right.
Yeah, that
Mark,
was really good.
Hold it nice and tight, just like you had it. Coming at you fast. Sir, sit on the bike and pedal. It's a game changer. It's so much more fun, I'm telling you. Everybody together. Clap. All right, Mark, hold it tight. I'm coming at you fast. Everybody together. Can you guys do me a favor? Can you guys just stand next to these people so it looks like I have a crowd? Hi, guys. Can you just stand a little bit closer over here so you look less judgmental? Everybody together. Sir, hold your hands. Tell your lover. Everybody clap. Mark, can you grab my right hand with your left hand? Grab my other hand, wherever you like. This was his decision. Mark, hang tight. Here I come. Eyes up here. And then, I do have to adjust the grip. I can't focus. You're so dreamy up close. Let's get you to take a big step this way, Mark. One more step this way. One step this way. One step this way. Now we're dancing. Look at us. We are the world. We are the children. Don't worry, Mark. Only 45 more minutes. We are the world. Eileen, can you pick up two of those pink boxes and one of those wooden boards, please? Because in 30 seconds, Eileen, I'm going to ask you to hand those to me. Right now, I am really enjoying this moment with Mark. Mark, thank you. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you. You're the support and stability I needed in life, and I got to tell you, you have the softest hands that I've ever held. The kindest eyes I've ever seen, and by golly, the sweatiest head that I've ever kissed. I'm going to give you a sticker, brother. Thanks for being a good sport. Don't ever change. Don't ever forget me. I'll never forget you. You can run back to your seat. Keep it going for Mark, everybody.
Well, I think we got a little more than we bargained for there with the shows there, huh, buddy?
Yeah.
I actually got involved in it. I got called out twice. Oh, you know what? But Key West, it comes alive at night. Sloppy Joe's, we're the last table when they're available. back at the car. We had an awesome time today. Spent the entire day in the Key West area, but also spent a ton of money. That's the only reason we're leaving now. A lot of other things to do out here. They've got comedians and all kinds of bands playing out here that I'd love to stick around for, but man, you go through the money fast, and that's without even buying any kind of souvenirs, huh?
Yeah.
All right, but we still have like an hour drive back to our place in Marathon anyway, so probably should do that before we drink anymore, right?
Yeah.
Did you have a good time tonight, buddy?
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right. Well, good morning, fellow expeditionists. Hey, Caden, what is today?
It's St. Patty's Day, also known as Leprechaun Day.
That's right. So I'm in my green, and I don't know what all we're going to be doing today. I know last night, driving back from Key West to our hotel, we got into a ton of rain, and it rained all night. There was a lot of standing water out there, and more rain is predicted. So we're just here at a very wet time, apparently. But we're still going to get out, go do some exploring. I'm not even sure what yet. It all depends on what the weather allows us to do. Now we are walking down the, bike path here in Marathon. We're heading up to, I believe it's called Point Hammock. It's literally an 8-minute walk from our motel. So why drive for that, right?
Right.
So anyway, a lot of traffic noise at the moment. But I'm sure that'll quiet down once we get, well, right up here. Well, it looks like there's quite a few things here to explore. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on Google, but I guess we'll find out. Well, what do we have here, Caden? Looks like some hanging air plants.
Well, I see some orchids and some staghorn ferns.
But are they true air plants?
No, they're not in the Tillandsia genus, and they're not even bromeliads.
So they're not air plants?
Nope.
But I see their roots and everything here in the air getting nutrients that way. So what's the difference?
Well, true air plants and Tillandsia can capture water just from moisture, like humidity in the air, but these ones need like water droplets to get the moisture from.
So these actually require like rain to fall on them, whereas what we think of as air plants just get it like from the humidity in the air.
Yep.
All right, good to know. All right, so there is a nice little museum here. This really just feels like a state park nature center, so that's cool. A little more expensive than a state park, but you know, it's private, so it doesn't get public funds. Got some marine displays outside of the museum.
Oh, there's a, where's your crib? Oh yeah, wow, that's a big lobster.
So we have been through many Florida hammocks, all through the state really, from the Panhandle over to the northeast, down through Ocala, and of course down here in the Everglades and then the Keys. And they still, to this point, never fail to disappoint me. They're always such a cool tropical feel, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, everything is wet right now from last night's rains, which gives it even more of a tropical feel. Well, I guess we can check out the wild bird rescue through here. I'm not seeing anything that explains why these pelicans are caged up here, like if they're hurt. There are more than pelicans in there now that I'm looking. So it does say here on their information boards that all the pelicans and cormorants and such come to them with broken wings and legs, or torn pouches, or even swallowed fish hooks and such. So they live now in captivity. It's just the only way they would survive. It's always sad seeing such majestic creatures cooped up in such a small cage. Not much of a way to live life, but out on their own with their injuries, and you can see his wings sticking out like that. They would not last a day, so. Actual spoonbill. So in these little buildings here and behind that wood fence over there is the actual rehab facility for the wild birds that can be healed and returned to the wild. They do not have them out for display at all whatsoever. So it's nice to know there's both a sanctuary here for the ones that can't go back to the wild, and of course help for those that can go back to the wild. Oh, looks like we found another Florida panther. How cool is he? Looks like we're on a mangrove trail. All right. Heading into the forest. All right, my ecologist up here is getting some pictures of things most of us just completely overlook. What are you seeing on this?
I see some weird lichens on this palm stem.
Yep. Different colors on there. That's all something that's living, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like the basis of life, really, when you think about it. All right. I finally feel like we're out in the middle of nowhere. Let's see. I think we go to the left. I'm not even sure what Raccoon Run is. There's a lot of mangroves and standing water inside right there. Unfortunately, this is a part of Florida where we don't have to worry about gators. Kind of crazy to think about the trail we're on here. It's going to be rising all of 6 feet above the pooled water, and that's all it takes to create a whole different plant community, just 6 feet higher elevation. So this kind of trail through here is exactly the kind of stuff I enjoy. For me, this is what makes the price of admission worthwhile. You get a little taste of wild Florida Keys to be exact. Here we have us a nice Florida spider hanging on to this gumbo limbo tree. I don't know if the camera is picking it up at all, so we slip that back there. Now you can see him. A good looking fella. Coming out of the forest for the moment. Up ahead is the Adderley house. Imagine actually living out here in this jungle. That would be absolutely amazing. Well, leave it to Mr. Ecology over here to find some Florida fungus. So this is the home of George Adderley. He was a Bahamian immigrant, moved up here in 1890, worked mostly on plantations to earn the money to buy this land and ultimately build this house back then. So yeah, I mean, wild times, huh?
Yeah.
The old Adderley home.
Most banana graders who sit down at the, or not graders, who sit down at that table and eat mild, that's not that one.
How would you like this to be your front yard, Caden?
It's awesome.
They only have mild, probably phones in the old days.
How would you keep spiders and insects out of this, you know?
I guess you don't.
I mean, obviously you can close the windows, but you got them big old gaps. So you'd be constantly fighting bugs, I'm guessing. Maybe even snakes and critters, huh?
Yeah, maybe that's why so many of the early settlers died of disease.
Now you're onto something. Little shed behind the Adderley house that I'm assuming was some belongings of some kind to the family or settlers. And old green bottles. Cool stuff. Here we got Rachel Creek. But it was really an inlet. There's a good chance we're going to get sprinkled or rained on here, starting probably in the next hour, and who knows how much beyond that. According to the weather app, it's nothing major, but we have got our rain jackets just in case. But we're too far out at this point to really find much shelter if it does, so guess we'll deal with that if it happens, huh, buddy?
Yep.
We get wet, we get wet.
Yep, then you get to carry the weight of my camera in your backpack.
Sure. Heading on down to the point. So here's that Rachel Creek we seen just a few minutes ago, and as I mentioned, it's actually an inlet. So above me here, coming down out of the tree, is this cactus. It's not often you see a cactus that's growing down toward you, but that is a dragon fruit cactus. The wind is definitely picking up. There's storms that are all around the Keys. We're kind of in a little bubble right now, stretching to the south of us and to the north of us. I'm not gonna lie to you, y'all. Right now, the Florida Keys kind of stink. And that's because it's been the dry season, and a lot of areas that normally pool up with water throughout the rest of the year have dried up, and you have kind of a rotting smell that comes from those areas. We've experienced it elsewhere before, particularly in Utah at the Great Salt Lake. When you go out on the sides of the lake there when the water's pretty low, it was definitely stinky, and that is the exact kind of smell I've been getting here.
Yep.
Yeah. But as you've seen in this video, that dry season is slowly coming to an end. So we have arrived at the historic Crane House. I guess there used to be tennis courts and everything out here back in the day. Look at that old wreck. Dios con nosotros. Yeah, might have to look that up sometime and see what it means. Here we have a strangler fig. I'm telling you, those always dominate a forest, don't they?
Yeah, they
They're
do.
just so cool looking. So once upon a time, this was somebody's own personal paradise. So the Cranes bought this land from the Adderleys in 1950 and then began the construction of this amazing property here. But they actually did it with the intent, apparently, of preserving everything else as close to a natural state as they felt they could. Caden, I see your favorite.
Spanish moss.
Yeah.
And actual air plants.
It is an actual air plant. So imagine taking this little boat across the seas from Cuba all the way up. We have made it out to the tip-top point. So out here is where you can do kayak rentals and go explore the mangroves through that area in better weather. It is not a very picturesque scene today with the weather that we've had. It was originally on our itinerary to rent kayaks on this trip and go out and explore some of the mangroves. Not necessarily here, but possibly somewhere like Robbie's, or even down at up at the John Pennekamp State Park in Key Largo. But the weather has kind of dampened any enthusiasm for doing so. But you know, it's still a beautiful time, and it's still better than Indiana, isn't it?
For sure. Back at home, it's about 17 degrees Fahrenheit.
And snow on the ground. So, yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this, and I'm really hoping all that melts off and warms up by the time we get back, huh?
Yep.
There's some of that coral fossil here in these rocks. Even some kind of shell right in there. So apparently there's a fish pedicure over here. Stick your feet in and the little fishies will nibble at any dead skin. They do tickle, don't they? They're mostly on the bottom of your feet. They're not really doing anything to the top much, but they're hitting the bottoms, and it does tickle. You should try it. I got a towel here. Caden doesn't want to get his feet wet, or he's afraid of getting his feet tickled by the fish. What are you finding over there?
Some algae.
Some algae.
I can try.
Well, sure.
I guess not that much, but a little bit.
Yep, it tickles.
Little mosquito fish thingies.
Yeah. I really like your feet. All right, I'm not going to lie. Getting the old fish pedicure there in that stream or inlet, whatever it is, was really cool. It was ticklish, and it was unique. What'd you think, Caden?
Yeah, that was neat. Saw what I think was some mosquito fish and some sailfin mollies.
Very interesting. Good stuff. I'm enjoying this place more than I expected to be honest. We debated on whether even to come here, and I'm actually way more impressed than I thought I would be. Maybe we're on Gilligan's Island.
Did we cross water?
All right, we are heading out the Sunset Boardwalk. Not looking for a sunset, of course, but we still want to see what kind of views it gives. Heading up the Crane Road now. We have not been up this. It's just a gravel lane. Different ecosystems and such. Just enjoying it. Got some more fungi back here. All right, we are going to do the Palm Trail. And it looks like my kind of trail again, going into the depths of the forest. So here we have the trunk of a tree that was blown over during Hurricane George back in 1998. But right on it, you can see new growth. So while the main tree died out, you had new growth sprout from it, showing how these places can recover from all these storms. What do we got here?
I hear a duck.
So this is a freshwater hole right here. It's a little bit of an oasis for the wildlife. Some weird bark on that tree. What kind is it?
This one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
It's a shredded bark.
In Indiana, the closest tree with that bark appearance I would think of is the shagbark hickory. But I'm like 99.9% sure that does not grow down here.
Yeah. Is it a buttonwood?
Yep.
Well, now we know. All right, mangrove trail. Not too long, but I think it's the last thing we have to hike in here. Well, I didn't know this was right in the middle of everything.
Now that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We almost skipped this little trail. I'm glad we didn't.
Right?
That's cool.
Back over at the fish pedicure, saying that the fish I saw were mosquito fish and mollies. This sign confirms I was right.
Gambusia, also known as mosquito fish, and mollies. You know your stuff, don't you, buddy?
Yep.
That is the largest one of these Florida spiders we ran into yet. That dude is close to 3 inches long. Actually, probably more than 3 inches from the front of his legs to the back. Yeah, big boy. Well, that completes our exploration today of Point Hammock. This is a really cool place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people tend to complain about the price. I think it was like $17.50 per person, which, you know, if you're comparing it to a state park, yeah, it's a little bit steep. But this being privately owned, and I really enjoyed it. It was cool. Some great trails here. They're doing good stuff with their bird sanctuary, and of course the mosquito fish doing our feet pedicures.
And mollies.
And mollies. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, I thought this was a pretty cool place to explore.
Yeah. Now, of course, it would have been nicer in better weather, but you know, you take what you can get. So I definitely think it was worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
Now we've got about an 8-minute walk home, back to home. I wish it was home. 8-minute walk back to our motel. Good morning, fellow expeditionists. So Tuesday, after the Crane Point exploration, which was really cool, the weather just was not very cooperative. It never got out of the 60s yesterday, windy, and always the threat of rain. So we just stayed close to the motel here in Marathon and just kind of chilled, honestly. And that was kind of nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we have checked out our motel this morning. We only had 3 nights there, which was very enjoyable, even if the weather didn't cooperate. And now we are heading up towards Key Largo. We actually have a glass bottom boat tour reserved this morning at 9:15 a.m. So we're trying to make it to that. They have told us that it will go on rain or shine, because I guess, you know, most of the boat can be inside of the rain. The only thing that could potentially cancel it is if the water is too rough, and that is a very good possibility this morning. The weather app says that there is a small craft advisory, so we'll just have to find out what happens when we get there, if we get to do this tour or not. If not, you know, we have a lot of other things we can do, as well as the next place we're moving on to tonight. We have made it to the John Pennekamp Coral Reef State Park here in Key Largo. We've got about half an hour to kill before the glass bottom boats start to load up for our trip today. It's right around 60 degrees, which is pretty cold for the Keys, honestly. So we're ready for it though, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we have been to the Pennekamp State Park one other time back in 2017, our first time ever in the Keys. And we actually did a snorkeling trip that time. Went out there and snorkeled among all the fishes. And I think we're probably going to be hitting some of the same areas on the glass bottom boat. We're just not going to be getting in the water. And this is not a hiking park, I guess you would say. I think they've got one 1-mile nature trail here, and that's pretty much it for hiking. Everything else is water-based, obviously. Kayaking through the mangroves, and of course the snorkeling and glass bottom boat tours and such. That is the purpose of this park. So we're hoping to fit that in, weather permitting. this nature center is a full-on aquarium. John Pennekamp Coral Reef State Park is considered an undersea park, covering more than 70 nautical square miles. We would be riding the Spirit of Pennekamp, a 65-foot-long high-speed catamaran that can hold up to 130 passengers. The tour would be 2.5 hours long, taking us 6 miles offshore to Molasses Reef. Along the way, we'd be seeing some osprey nests, shorebirds among the mangroves and on the buoys, and if we're lucky, some dolphins may join us.
In the creek, and it actually has some eggs in there. You might hear mom or with that. Probably guess where it's got its name. But they ended up dredging this back a new habitat out here for the birds, which is turned for like seagrass and grass.
We have arrived here at Molasses Reef. You guys can see Molasses Tower up close now off the left side of the vessel. Well, it's about a 7-foot drop. Very likely to crack if you drop them in there, and you can now retrieve any items that
There are 2 large glass bottoms inside the boat for viewing. Unfortunately, I needed an ambient blue light filter to be able to properly capture what we were seeing on video, which I did not have. Caden was loving this, as he has multiple fish tanks at home, and just recently got his first saltwater aquarium. So he was excited to see not just the fish, but the multitude of corals as well. We got to see some rays, blue tangs, sergeant majors, barracuda, and even one sea turtle, although I had stopped recording when it quickly passed under us. This is truly the next best thing to snorkeling or scuba diving.
Those vines waving back and forth on tree-like structures are called sea plumes. The purple larger structures waving back and forth are some of our common sea fans.
I missed it.
Oh my goodness, very briefly, just making its way on by. Off the left side of our boat now was one of our green sea turtles down there towards the edge of the reef. That was sweet.
This is one of those things that is awesome in person, but video just can't capture the experience. It was well worth the price of admission to us.
Northern white ivy.
We are back on dry land. What did you think of that little cruise there, Caden?
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was fun. That was awesome. It's a great way to kind of bring our Keys part of this adventure to an end, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are saying goodbye to the Keys once again. It was a good time down there, huh, bud?
Always.
Always. And whether good or not, there's always something to do. Really good food. It gets expensive quick though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It does. So anyway, our adventure is not done yet. We have a couple of more places we want to visit on our way back north. Starting with, we're camping tonight in the Big Cypress National Preserve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are at the Oasis Visitor Center here at Big Cypress National Preserve, kind of the extended part of the Everglades. It's one of our favorite spots to always come and visit and look for the gators, isn't it?
Yep.
We checked out the Visitor Center. There's a lot of information in there on the history of the Seminole Indians and the background of their alligator wrestling, of all things. Interesting stuff. So right here at the Oasis Visitor Center is the southern terminus of the Florida National Scenic Trail. I believe about 30 miles of it or so goes through the preserve here before continuing on something like 1,500 miles. One of the favorite things for tourists to do here at Big Cypress is drive the scenic loop. It is, I don't know, something like 24 miles long, and you go and you hit the main road of the loop. It turns to gravel and usually has a lot of holes and a lot of water after rain like we've had lately. And just so happens where we're spending tonight at the Mitchell's Landing campground is on that scenic loop. So we have to drive it tonight. Go see if there's any gators hanging out on the roadside there, or maybe in our campgrounds, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we are heading down the scenic loop road now. I'm just going to say it, it's not quite as impressive today, mostly because of the weather with the thick cloud cover, and it is like 63 degrees outside. So this is unseasonably cold for South Florida like this. So, you know, even the gators aren't coming out and sunning themselves in this kind of weather. but we're gonna make the best of it. We are at the Gator Hook Trail. We attempted to hike this back in 2022 and it still had standing water. It's only really a trail during the absolute driest time of the year. And since a lot of areas have been pretty dry still, even with the rain they've had this week, I thought, you know, I want to go out and look just to see if it's dried up or not. Now, we don't really want to go out too far if it is dry, but you know, we're here, we want to look at it and see if it's different. I'll throw up a little view comparison of what it was in 2022 to what it is right now. It already appears to be drier than what it was the other time. Now that was in December, which is kind of the beginning of the dry season. And here in March, we're approaching the end of the dry season. Yeah, when we were here in December of 2022, everything along these rails was underwater. So yeah, it looks like it is completely dry, at least out to the tree line way over there. Now this goes out about 2.5 miles and back. And we went out to that tree line into pretty much knee-deep water in 2022. And it looks very hikeable now. We just aren't prepared for it right now. So yeah, Caden and I are now seriously considering doing this hike tomorrow morning. We had no intention really of sticking around here in the Everglades area. I'm tripping over the cypress knees coming out of the ground here. But our intention was to head out early and move on further north. But coming out here and seeing this as dry as it is, and knowing how we failed to do it in 2022 kind of makes us want to do it now. All right, I think we better get back on the loop and find our campground. All right, we have arrived at Mitchell's Landing Campground here in Big Cypress National Preserve. So this is our site. We are parked here. We're going to just sleep in the back of the Subaru tonight. No reason to put up a tent for one night. That way we can get out of here early and maybe go do that Gator Hook Trail again. Look at all them fern type things up that tree, Caden.
Yep, I think it's called resurrection fern.
Resurrection fern, very interesting. And of course you still got all the epiphytes up there as well. Straight across from our site, there is a shared food locker here, food storage locker. And it's because there are black bears here, potentially Florida panthers, obviously alligators, as well as apparently wild pigs. So yeah, definitely panther country. Not to mention, high bear activity. Oh yeah, I wonder what that bear's been smoking. So in this little part of the campground, our Site 7 is literally the only site on the left side of the lane. And then you've got all of these sites over here to the right. It's almost set up more like a group campground, but they are divided up. So here we have a set of, I'm sure they're pit toilets. That'd be my guess anyway. I haven't gone in yet to check. This is here, says airboat launch area, which is kind of curious because I don't see anywhere that an airboat would go into. I don't know. Well, they weren't kidding. There really is an airboat ramp right here. It doesn't look like it's been used in a very long time, but it is here. So I'm always amazed every time we come down here by all of the air plants. What are those called? Bromeliads or something?
Bromeliads.
Bromeliads, okay. And that's in what order or family?
Well, they're in Bromeliaceae, which I believe are a type of monocots.
I'll leave that all up to you, but every clump you see in these trees is one of those big old air plants. So now those are some impressive air plants. Look at those babies. So we're always talking about Caden and his botany. He's also got a minor coming up in entomology. And here he's got all these little tiny lubber grasshoppers. Those are some interesting specimens that Caden's been examining over here.
But check this out.
What you got?
I found an alive tree snail on the ground on our campsite.
Well, I'll be darned. Now we've hiked there's an actual tree snail trail here in Big Cypress, not that far from us. And you found one right here, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. What are you going to do with it?
Find somewhere to put it.
All right, somewhere it's safe that we won't step on them.
Yep.
Well, it's nothing fancy. Just a good old mountain house tonight. You know what? It works when you're out in the middle of swampland, huh?
Yep.
Who knows? The smell of the old mountain house might attract skunk ape. Dun dun dun. Well, good morning, fellow expeditionists. Great night of sleeping. Woke up here this morning in Big Cypress. A little bit chilly this morning, but I think this is like the first sunny morning we've had on this whole trip, huh, bud?
Yeah, every other morning it's been cloudy or rainy.
Yep. So, looking good, but we're probably going to keep on moving north. We really did play with the idea of going back to the Gator Hook Trail and finishing that. It's a hike that we tried to do like 3.5 years ago, but it was flooded at the time, so we couldn't go very far. But after reading some reviews and realizing that it's pretty much the same thing all the way out 2.5 miles and back, we decided our time would probably be better spent getting up to Ocala National Forest, which is our next destination. So we're hitting the road. There he is. Skunk ape. Dun dun dun. Yeah, everything is definitely prettier in the sunlight, isn't it?
Sure is.
We're now driving through panther habitat. That's why you see all the chain link fence along the sides here. The biggest killer of the Florida panther isn't any kind of predator. It's getting hit by cars on these roads. It's like we're now entering the community of Lake Placid. Somehow we got transported up to New York, apparently. Well, Google Maps has taken us out of the river of grass, through the panther habitat, up through citrus country, through lake country, in and out of towns and traffic, all the way up to horse country, and now we're in Ocala National Forest.
So you guys here for the day? Or
We're actually camping tonight.
Camping?
Yep.
All right. What do you know what the site number was?
Number 60. Where are we at tonight, Caden?
We're at Juniper Springs.
That's right. We are camping tonight here at Juniper Springs Recreation Area in the Ocala National Forest. So we just now arrived at our site. This is site number 60. It's a nice big site. Plenty of space. Once again, I expect we'll just be camping in the Subaru. We do have the tent. We could pop up if we want, but we're got to be out of here by 9 a.m. in the morning because of plans we have for tomorrow. So it is what, going on about 3 o'clock right now. So really we've only got about 18 hours here, counting sleep. Didn't see this on all trails. So this trail that we thought would lead us over to the main spring just splinters in multiple places, and we don't know which one to take. Some probably go off to campsites, and I don't know what else they do. I'm just going to follow the sounds of children. That almost always will lead you to wherever the activities are at. So when we drove in to Juniper Springs, the attendant at the front, he just asked what we were doing, told him we were camping, told him what site we had reserved. He filled out a card for us, didn't check it or nothing, just filled out the card for us, assuming we were telling the truth. No maps of the place or nothing. In we go to find our own campsite. So we're just winging it, literally. All right, well, the trail has led us out here. This is the Juniper Mill House. This was actually built by the CCC back in the 30s. Very, very well preserved. So here we have found the main spring here at Juniper Spring. Back inside there is an old stone bridge built by the CCC back in the 1930s. They say the bridge itself is still in great shape, but the approaches to it have collapsed. They say some of the little micro springs, the boils as they call them, slowly bubble up and cause the land to sink. So even the boat launch where they used to do kayaks down the creek is currently closed. And there was once a boardwalk trail back here, also in disrepair and closed. Now here you have an old shelter that you can see the roof there on the left is leaning in and is going to need a whole lot of work to ever be reopened. But what makes it so unique is the palm tree growing right out of the middle of it.
You know what? I'm a little bit disappointed. Like we got to see the mill, and the mill is obviously the main attraction, but there are all these other things like the bridge and even these little buildings and stuff that are all in disrepair and we're not able to access them. It would have been nice to see some of the views from the boardwalk and the creek, but that is closed.
Judging by their daily conditions being listed as January, I'm thinking that they've basically closed down the nature center and anything else for the season. But here is a map of the place, so it shows you the trail that we came in on, and all of these separate trails are just at different parts of the campgrounds. And even over here, the Point Hammock Spring, even that shows that the bridge is closed and no swimming. So I just feel like they're missing a lot of opportunities here at what otherwise would be one of the coolest spots in the National Forest. So this is the other side of that old CCC stone bridge. This is where it would have came up on the other side, right by the mill actually. So that would lead right down to where that bridge is at. But all right, we are going to head out one of the other campground trails. We might head out that Fern Spring Trail, the one that the map says the bridge is closed, but it's something to do. From what I have read since our trip, is that Juniper Springs took heavy storm damage a few years ago. That, combined with aging infrastructure, has caused the boardwalks to be closed at least since early 2024, not to mention a closure in 2025 due to a nuisance alligator. There seems to be no current timeline for repairs to be made. Same thing off to this side. This is part of that boardwalk trail just on the other side of the creek. Closed off. We were here at Ocala National Forest on Cadence Spring Break back in 2018, so it's been 8 years. And we stayed at the Clearwater Lake recreation area at that time, which is a little bit further to the southeast from here. And it was nice. It had a nice pretty lake, and it had lots of trails around the lake. And we almost made our campsite for the night at that place just for nostalgic reasons. But we decided to go to Juniper Springs because it's one of the more popular ones and it's supposed to be so beautiful. And don't get me wrong, it's pretty, but we are definitely disappointed in all the disrepair. So off to the left here is more of the old boardwalk that is just utterly rotting, completely rotten. Those things, it has to have been closed for years. There's no way it gets in that shape in recent time. And of course here is the Fern Spring, in which they have completely closed off. No way to get out there, so I'm not sure what's in disrepair there. But you can see the spring here off to the side. It's a pretty area. But this is as far out as you can get. Well, we have about 2.5 hours of time to kill before the sun sets. And since there's not as much to do here at Juniper Springs as we were hoping, it just so happens that the Florida National Scenic Trail passes through the property. Kind of ironic, since yesterday we were down at the southern terminus of the Florida Trail. So we're going to go and hike out just a little bit of it, just to have something to do and experience it. Hey Caden, check out this beard stuff here. This is a cool air plant, isn't it?
Well, it's no air plant.
Oh?
You know why?
Why?
Because it's not a plant.
Huh?
It's a lichen.
I'm liking that answer.
It's a fungus. Bushy beard lichen.
Wow. See, that kind of stuff always confuses me, because when you see that bushy beard lichen or whatever it's called, and you see Spanish moss, they are very similar in how you see them hanging from the trees and such. Yet one is a plant and one is clearly not. What do you think about that?
Well, sometime I learned that the lichens are under the genus Usnea. Meanwhile, the Spanish moss is in the species Tillandsia usneoides, which I'm pretty sure is a reference to the Usnea lichen.
So one plant took its name from the fungus, is that right?
Yeah.
That's wild. But you know, if I was the guy out there naming things, I'd have to find some kind of inspiration for things too, huh?
Yeah.
Speaking of lichens, look at all of these things on the ground here. Now this is not the bushy beard, this is something completely different. It's almost spongy. Your new mission, Caden, figure out what that is.
I think it's a type of cladonia.
Cladonia?
You know what? This feels a lot like hiking on the ridge tops at Red River Gorge.
I'm guessing that's because, you know, those ridge tops at Red River Gorge, that's all on top of sandstone ridges and arches and such.
Ah.
So, you know, with all the weathering that goes on there, the sandstone weathers down, leaving the sand, much like what we're walking on here, behind. So And of course those ridge tops are also full of pine and evergreen type trees, which you see all those needles and such on the ridge tops up there, kind of like what we're seeing here, huh?
Yeah, what a connection.
Of course, one major difference is here where we're hiking right now is the largest stand of sand pine in the world. Pretty wild, huh?
For sure. And you know what's also different about this forest is that we're hiking with palm trees right beside us. And you know why that is?
Why?
It's because we're in the subtropics.
So, what is the difference between subtropics and tropics?
Well, the subtropics are farther poleward in latitude and get colder in the winter, so the subtropics receive occasional freezing, which kind of limits which plants grow here. But the tropics pretty much never freeze during winter. So the tropics has a lot of plants that aren't frost resistant that can grow there.
So like if we were to take a plant from, say, the Florida Keys, which is more tropic, and took it back even up to here in this part of Florida, there's a good chance they wouldn't survive, huh?
Yeah, like there's probably certain plants that would survive just fine if we took them from the Florida Keys and left them here, but then there are also a lot of plants in the Florida Keys that wouldn't survive here.
Yep, because they're not frost resistant, huh?
Yep.
And of course up here they can get frost.
And there are probably also plants from here that wouldn't do so well in the Florida Keys because they would need a certain length of cold period to end their dormancy over winter. Like I noticed on our road drive up here, noticing more maple trees and other things that we see more often farther north that I did not see any of in the Keys.
That's a good point. But that's also why we love visiting these kind of places, because it's so biodiverse.
Yep.
And you can literally see that as you travel, the diversity happening and make the shift in the transition from one area to another, huh?
Yep.
All right, I saw you taking a picture of something. What is that weird stuff?
I'm pretty sure that one is called Christmas lichen.
Christmas lichen.
And I don't, without looking it up, I don't remember a whole lot specific about it other than it grows kind of like in the subtropic and tropic areas. And I think it got that common name from being red and white, kind of like festive colors.
Sure. So I can't help but notice once in a while what looks like a tiny side trail off to the side that comes out to a little clearing. And I remembered, you know, this being a long trail, that backpackers are going to need spots to set up camp along the trail. So, although they're not marked, but clearly there's a square space right here that somebody at some point had them a little fire. Well, we've got the tent set up. It'll be the only night on this whole trip that we actually get to spend the night in the tent. And right now I am getting ready to get a fire going over here. Probably going to keep it simple tonight, some good old hot dogs and such. And over here at the Subi, it's taking a night off from us sleeping in the back of it. But I don't think I've pointed out yet that we have gotten us a electric or travel refrigerator here. We got tired of the ice. I got tired of the ice, especially with situations that we found ourselves in, like in our Pacific Northwest trip in summer of 24, when we ended up in Washington, state of Washington, when they had a heat wave up there. It was like 95 degrees, and we were up in the Olympic Peninsula corner up there that nobody had ice, absolutely nobody. They were out, and we ended up having to throw away some of our stuff. So it's nothing special, or not a big name brand, just Vivor. It's like a 23 quart, and it does a really good job of keeping things cold. And right now it's only at 48 degrees because I've had it unplugged for a few hours, but it's cooling right back down, being powered by our Blue Eddy back here. That does a pretty good job as well. Anything to add there, Catfish?
I just think it's cool that we can do this without adding any ice, you know, like it really cheapens things on a road trip.
It cheapens things, and it's less frustrating. Always having to keep an eye out for a place that sells ice, pulling out the coolers, dumping out the water, refilling with ice. And it's sometimes in the places we go, it's a daily thing. You have to refill it almost daily, even with the really nice ones that say that they can keep ice for like 5 days, and they don't. So yeah, this is definitely a nice little upgrade. Now I've got to get a better way of keeping the old Blue Eddy charged. The car doesn't always necessarily keep it fully charged, but you know, it's charging at the same time when we're driving, and the fridge is then plugged into the car as well, which keeps it, we've been keeping it typically at 37 degrees, and it's done real well, huh?
Yeah.
Well, good morning, guys. It's another sunny morning. The day is not really starting out very warm though, so you can see my breath. Yeah, it got down to 39 degrees last night. Well, that's what it was when we got up this morning. It may have gotten lower than that before that, for all I know. But, you know, it's kind of funny that we saved the night that we decided to tent camp for the coldest night here in Florida, huh?
Pretty much.
We made it, and we are ready to move on. We're all packed up. Got to get our trash put away here at the campground, and then we're heading just a few miles west of here, a little place called Silver Springs. Silver Springs State Park is a gem among Florida's state parks, not just for the beautiful waters and scenery, but for wildlife viewing, including a population of rhesus macaques that were introduced here by a tour boat operator back in 1938. We kayaked this park 8 years ago, and I've always wanted to return to experience it again. Well, we have made it to Silver Springs State Park. We have reservations for a double kayak today, tandem kayak, sorry. Let's see what we can do. Definitely a busy time to be here, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought we rented early, but yeah, it's gonna be a busy waterway today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think you're gonna see any gators?
I'm not so sure about that. It might be a little bit cold for them.
Oh, they'll be out there. You gonna see any monkeys?
Maybe.
How about rhesus macaques?
I see one on the other side holding this camera and shoving it right at my face.
Who, me? So there are multiple outfitters here that rent the kayaks. I didn't realize that. We were actually in the wrong line. Once we figured out where we were supposed to be, though, they took care of us real fast. So I'll throw up the name of the outfitters that we went through. All right, Caden's paddling for me and I get to film, right? Yeah. We're in the water here at Silver Springs. Caden asked me if I'm going to do if an alligator plunges out of the water and attacks me, and well, I guess there's not a whole lot I'm going to do, except you're going to have to drive your own self home after that. Because I'm going to be underwater somewhere, drowning and getting in a death roll probably at that point. I don't know. A turtle under there, cool. Caden has spotted our first wildlife. I can't get it on film though, it's underwater. It's not going to pick up on this little camera. Looks like we're paddling into the sun to start with. I think Tarzan's out here somewhere. Along with Skunk Ape, probably. Oop, he went. Yeah, there he is. Yep. Don't know if you can see him. He's swimming as we kind of passed him. Well, no sign of the rhesus monkeys yet, visually anyway. We have heard them, just haven't found them yet. We've seen them back in 2018, so hopefully they'll make an appearance for us again this time. So there's a bunch of turtles up here, but the people up there are saying they're seeing the rhesus macaques, so got to keep our eye out. Got us some rhesus monkeys ahead up in that big tree. Oh, that one jumped. Wow.
This is their I-95 today.
Oh, look at him. He's popping. Oh, we got a baby. Oh, they're all going to jump. Jumping monkeys. Oh, they're all look at them. They're fighting.
I know, right?
It is a nice setup.
That is a very nice setup.
You have lots of options.
Yeah, look at that.
Jumping behind us. That was some awesome rhesus macaque action there. Better than what we got even back in 2018. Totally worth it. So I've been in bison jams in Yellowstone and bear jams in Smoky Mountains, but this is the first time I've ever been in a monkey jam.
It does seem like probably a juvenile green heron.
All right, we're going through the gates from this little channel. It's going to take us to the main channel from the spring. It's going to be much wider, probably a little bit more of a flow to it. Oh, we are out in the main channel right now. Now, when we visited here in 2018, we just had like a 2-hour rental. So we just did the main loop and came right back. And it was well worth it. But today, just to make sure we had no time limits, we got an all-day rental. So we're going to explore a little bit further down the channel than we did the other time.
That's an egret or a great white heron to the left.
Oh, yeah. Got us a gator on the shoreline over there, just sunning himself in the greenery. We've certainly seen plenty of gators over the last 2 or 3 days, you know, between Big Cypress and now here. The difference here is we're in the water with them. Gives you a little more respect for them. Gator in the water right there. Well, we didn't get it on video because it happened so fast, but we just had a manatee swim right beside our kayak here. He was going the opposite direction. The Silver Springs glass bottom boat tour is coming towards us here, so we have to kind of stay off to the side because they stop for no one.
Works pretty well.
Another boat coming here. That's the glass bottom. I think the other one was just a tour. There's your glass bottom. Somebody said that there is several manatees ahead too. Just casually passing the gator in the water right here. See you later, alligator. So many tours going on right now. It was not like this in 2018. The waterways, they are thick with people. Yeah, I don't know what changed, but when we were here in 2018, there was just, to my knowledge, the one outfitter that did the kayaks. And we were here during Caden spring break. But now there are multiple outfitters for the kayaks. There are tour guides. There are tour guides for kayaks. There are tours for stand-up paddle boards, and that's on top of the glass bottom boat tours and such too. It's a very busy spring today. We got some anhinga nests up here. We are approaching the main part of the park where all of those tours originate from, and also going to be going over the main spring very deep. All right, making our way back. Now we could stay out all day if we wanted to, but we're not used to all this paddling, are we, Caden? Nope. And we actually got a lot of wildlife in here. So I think it's mission accomplished for us. We got us a manatee right in the middle there. Little hump keeps coming up. Yeah, he's heading on down the stream. So we got another view of a manatee, but it's so hard to catch them on film when you're in a kayak. So there you can probably see the form of the manatee under the water there. He's just resting there. We are definitely swimming with manatees this time. Well, not swimming, but you know what I mean. We are being led back by that manatee up there. Follow him, buddy, follow him. It is a very packed exitway. Well, Caden, how did you like our paddle there today?
That was pretty darn neat.
It was. It was a little overcrowded, of course, there around the entry points, to be expected. And of course, with all of the tour guides that are going on out there, that's new to us compared to what it was 8 years ago anyway, but still an awesome experience. And you know, the further out you went on that river, the less people there were. And that's the way we like it. All right, we're inside the main part of the park. We're gonna do a little sightseeing, walk the little loop trail. Oh man, when we were here in 2018, we didn't know about their trail system here, and they didn't have very good maps here for them, and that was in the days before all trails had everything mapped. But already we have found where if you take this boardwalk off and across the creek, a whole system of trails over there to explore. But we don't really have the time for it this time around. Plus we're really hungry, so we want to go get some lunch. And I don't know, after that we're probably going to be heading back to
Indiana.
Dun dun dun! Keeping it kind of cheap for lunch here at the park. Some pizza and some mozzarella sticks. Well guys, that is going to bring us to an end on this awesome Florida adventure. Caden, what was your favorite thing that we've done this week?
I think my favorite activity that we did this week was the Key West Tropical Forest Botanical Garden, followed by the glass bottom boat tour over the Reef and Silver Springs.
Yeah, it's really hard to choose, isn't it?
Yeah.
So many things that rank right up there. I know with the Florida Keys Botanical Garden, not only was that place really cool, but the lady that was running it that day, she was super knowledgeable, and Caden and her sat there and talked for a good half hour, and the only reason they stopped at that point was because she had to deal with some other customers in there. It's not often Caden finds people with his same interest, huh?
Yeah, not too often.
Yep.
Especially not where I'm from, Indiana.
Right. Cool experiences here. It is hard to say. Obviously, we loved the glass bottom boat tour there at Pennekamp State Park and everything in Key West. Even getting made fun of by Ridiculous Reed was fun in itself. Just an adventure all in all. And of course, we absolutely love Silver Springs, our last thing we've done here today. But it's time for us to start hitting the road and heading north, isn't it?
Yep.
All right. Till next time. Peace out.